tonight was a little bit of an edition of a Bad Boys edition. So I think you guys kind of got the concept that I was going with. And I hope from the comments that I had in the chat, I hope it was going pretty well for everybody here. But thank you guys again for being here tonight. We have an awesome show. A lot of information, a lot of intel per sources, but it's legit information. So stick around. There's a lot to talk about. And we're going to go through the list little by little. But so tonight first, let me introduce my special co-host of the night, Chris Fected on Twitter. I'll go ahead and put up her Twitter, up on here soon enough for you guys to go ahead and follow her. She's going to be my co-host tonight. And we're also going to have a special guest, Blast, one of the top AM players coming out of Las Vegas. Probably the #1 guy, from what I've been told per sources, that looked the best coming out of Las Vegas. Blast is going to be coming on here to talk a little bit about himself, and I'll also talk about a little bit of what's going on currently in the esports gears world. Followed by the first topic of the night. One day, you guys will know the full story. Now, that is a tweet I pulled straight from Franchise off of Twitter. Franchise, if you guys don't know, he is the leader of Echo Fox and one of the oldest veterans currently in the game. And he went ahead and tweeted that. Is that about Solurs? Is that about Praized? Is that about both of them? Or is that about Toy Soldier? We'll clarify that tonight with you guys, as long as you're here and you stick around. Then we're going to be talking about Solurs and Praized. Are they going to Optic? Is Icy going to be released? We will also be talking about that tonight in detail. Followed by contracts. They're a part of business. We're going to be talking about contracts in detail, about salary, why there are contracts, and what you guys expect from it. Obviously, there seems to be a little bit of confusion currently in the esports gears world, so that's what I'm here for tonight, to kind of clear that up and kind of give a voice of reason for both sides, not only for the organizations, but also for the players. Then lastly, we're going to be talking about organizations coming into the esports gears world. Now, guys, I had 2 organizations coming into tonight's episode, but now I've also been contacted by 2 more organizations before I went live tonight, and that kind of means a big deal to me. Obviously, these guys, have faith in me, or they trust me, or they know that this platform is here to bring positivity to the game and to bring nothing but that. Obviously, the more orgs that we have, the more exciting it is. And that's obviously what I'm here for. I'm here to bring more attention to the game, not only to myself, obviously, come on, everybody knows I love the attention, but also to esports gears world, to kind of bring us back to where we need to be in general. Obviously, we're doing well. I'm not saying we aren't, but we can do better, especially when it comes to organizations. So I'll have 4 to talk about tonight. 4. 3 are coming. 1 is going. Now, the most interesting one is the one that is going. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for that before I drop that one. That's actually going to be the last one that I talk about tonight. But that's going to sum it up for tonight, guys. Those are all the topics. If you guys have any questions, concerns, anything really, you guys can DM me. You can put it in the chat. I want to thank Calico Sky. Thank you for the bits, or whatever you call it. I'm kind of new to this. The Savior. Thanks for the cheer. Calico, Supremacy, Leap, Hydra, Chris Infected is here. Sav. Hexies, Handles, Brolix, Flipper. I know I saw Bill in here. Bill, my man from Payday. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. Honestly, it means a bunch to me to see familiar faces each and every night. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and call my co-host of the night here on Skype, guys. I'm going to be bringing you some live video footage of her. So her name is Chris, so I'm going to put a little bit up there as well on here that's going to be able to identify who exactly she is. So let me go ahead and call her. Hopefully we're on point and we're able to get her on call right away. Who Aim, what's up? How's it going? K Mundo P, how's it going, my friend? Good to see everybody here tonight. I appreciate each and every single one of you. And also the people that are here tonight watching, but don't type in the chat. You guys, you're the real MVPs. I'll tell you that right now. So let me go ahead and call Chris.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Awesome.
Good to have you. So, guys, let me know if you hear her good enough. But, guys, this is Chris Fected. I kept saying infected. I don't know why. But Chris Fected.
Yeah, everyone.
Right? It's kind of like you just say it because it sounds good. It just goes together. But I know that's annoying. For branding, it's not necessarily what you want. So I apologize for that. Sorry for being a random. But, guys, this is my co-host of the night. And I want her to be able to introduce herself. So, Chris, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take it.
Awesome. Well, anyone who came to Mexico City events for Gears Per Circuit already know me. I hope so, because I was working there, working so hard to bring that awesome events that you saw. And I'm currently doing, a lot of esports here in Mexico, like working with some brands, working with brands as Red Bull, or even Microsoft Gears of War. And I'm very, very excited that you invite me to join you, because I really appreciate all the Gears of War family from NA, because, we are so close. So I'm very happy to be here, and that's what I do.
Great, and we do appreciate you being here. I know there's a lot of people here watching. Guys, make sure you go ahead and follow Chris on Twitter as well. She is from Latin America, so it's always good to have representation from all over. I know Gears of War is big in Latin America, and I appreciate that. I'm Hispanic, I'm Cuban, and also half Ecuadorian. I know a lot of people don't necessarily know that. So it's always good to connect with my Latin side and my Latin family. So it's good to have you here tonight, Chris. We're going to have Chris on here the whole night. We're going to be talking to Blast, one of the amateur players, obviously you probably know. And then we'll be going through each topic tonight. And I know we have a lot to talk about, so we'll try to get started as quick as possible. So let me go ahead and see if I could get Blast in here.
Awesome.
See if he picks up right away. Usually people are you were pretty good. You were probably one of the first guests that actually picked up right away, which is always a good thing.
Oh.
Blast?
Hello?
Yo. What up?
What's up? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. Guys.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Do you have your video? No video? What's up?
Yo.
Come on.
Oh, there he is.
I'm here.
My man, guys, Blast. This is Blast. Obviously, I gave him a big shout out before we even brought him in here. Probably the top player talked about coming out of Las Vegas, from my sources at least. I think. I mean, I don't know, but Blast.
Why my video is bigger than Blast? Blast deserves more.
I think he might be on his phone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I am.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's a player, not me.
he's on his phone.
I see that.
I usually get that from players, which is awesome. No. Where'd you? But yeah, so guys, this is Blast. Blast, before we continue going, go ahead and introduce yourself. I know you have your teammates in here, and I'm sure they would love to hear it.
I'm Blast. I've been playing Gears of War since around Gears of War 2. And, I'm here. You feel me?
He's here.
He doesn't need an introduction.
I'm here.
It's me.
I like that. I'm here.
Yeah.
For real.
I'm Blast and I'm here. Yeah.
I like the introduction, Blast. Good to see you. I know Chris, you've heard of Blast, right?
Of course. Maybe he doesn't. About me, but
well, it's always good to introduce people to each other, so it's good to have both of you here tonight. And we'll try to keep Blast on here as long as possible. I know he has to scrim, but going into it, Blast, I want to know what you're currently doing right now. What's the team and what's the game plan going into July's event?
The team right now is, if anyone didn't know, I'm playing with my old Aspire squad +1, which is me, Flash, Hexes, Actors, and Handles. If anyone don't know, we played with Rep Solid before as our 5th, but now we are playing with Handles, Sean, if anyone didn't know. And, our game plan is just, get back to work. And, we went back to the roots. We just felt like, like we're best to play with each other. Like, why split up, go back, stick it through, find that right fit for us and, make it through.
Absolutely. And that's always a good thing. Obviously, I was a little shocked when you guys came back. You guys split. Now you're back together. Minus, obviously, God Plays, who was added to Echo Fox. Yeah. Which, what were your thoughts on that? God Plays going to Echo Fox.
God plays. I think he has great potential. I think Echo Fox would definitely bring that out of him. Definitely bring that potential because he honestly, he could do everything in the game. So I think franchise, will help him out a lot.
Absolutely. I think K is the kind of player that needs a veteran, I guess, experience or veteran
When he
oversight.
played, I feel like when he played with us, that role of like a leader was forced on him a little bit. I feel like playing with Echo Fox, he's a little more loose. He doesn't have that role just up like upon him. But I'm pretty sure he can do it if he needs to.
Absolutely. I know that's not necessarily the role he likes to play, but I know he was doing it. Now, Chris, what's your take on that team, Echo Fox, now that we're on the topic of God Plays? God Plays has gone to Echo Fox. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I know that. I met God Plays 2 years ago here in Mexico, in person, and I saw all the potential he has, but I didn't expect that he was going to join Echo Fox, but I think he needs, maybe because it was a lot of time that he hasn't played a team and not at that kind of team. So I think he needs like a duo. I don't know. He needs a good duo to I don't know, to get to update at least. I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's just true.
Why are you laughing at?
I
Was
think
that savage?
Yeah.
I'm so honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was that savage?
It's okay. Speak your mind.
exactly. Speak your mind. Blast. How was it playing with God Plays? How was it playing with him?
Oh, nah, it's God Plays. God Plays is he's one of it's hard to say. He's definitely a special player, bro. Definitely a special player, bro. I give him his credit when it's due. He's definitely like a player. In the future, I'll play with again. I'll play with him.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I can tell you one thing about K, because I teamed with him, obviously. You know that. K was probably one of the most chaotic players that I've ever teamed with. I loved him to death. He was extremely skilled, but oh my lord, did he give me... First of all, he stressed me out. He gave me so much anxiety because he was late to pretty much every practice that we had. The guy would either go 30 kills, 40 kills, or he'll go 10 kills with like 400 time dead. So
there's no in between.
I want to listen to that.
Yeah, it's just like he was so up and down, and I love him. Playing with him, Rezik, and Domes. To think about it now, Rezik's on a top 4 team, K's on a top 4 team, and then Domes is, he's been back and forth. I love playing with all those guys, but oh man, the new age of Gears players, those guys definitely gave me some anxiety, and that's probably why I stopped competing, honestly. That was a big reason that I stopped, because I just couldn't take it anymore. I was getting more stressed out gaming than I was at work, and that's a problem.
Yeah, that definitely is. Gaming is supposed to be, some sort of escape type of thing too.
Exactly.
You can, you bring that negative vibe to your escape. No one wants that.
Well, that's kind of what I've always preached, and also my teammate Immortal Spawn always preaches that, gaming is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be entertaining, it's supposed to be more of like a hobby more so than a job, and I feel like...
Yeah, I totally agree with that. For real, I feel like some people, take it for granted, and I feel like some people don't are too hard, too hard on themselves, and don't actually have fun while playing.
Absolutely, and that's an issue. I feel like that's becoming more and more of what esports is in general, and also Gears specifically, since we're on the topic. Now, Chris, I know since you're in Latin America, you have a different perspective. Tell us a little bit about Gears for your guys' side.
Yeah,
educate me and Blast.
Yeah, it is a thing, because it's not exactly Latin America, at all. It's Mexico, and Mexico. The community is... I don't know if you guys have been here in Mexico to an event.
I have. It's actually one of the best events I've ever been to.
I know, right? Not because I'm from here, but I know, right? All the community.
No, the fan. I never I've been to a decent amount of events so far, and when I've been to Mexico, I never I was like lost for words. I was like, damn, it's actually like I had people coming up to me. You know,
Yeah,
I'm like I'm not like anybody. I had people coming up to me asking me for my picture and stuff like that. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's not because maybe you think you're not someone like any big, right? But here in Mexico, they take this very serious. Like, I don't know, if they see that you have a player that is coming from other country, they support him because they really take, I don't know, like this importance that they are attending an international event for them. So it's very important, that point here in Mexico. Oh, it's all about community. You see,
Yeah.
we don't have like a lot of leagues or tournaments running here. Well, talking national, because we have the pro circuit, but it's just once a year, and other leagues are just run by communities, and maybe they don't have pool prize and stuff. And there's an issue about traveling, the visa. For Mexican,
a lot of
yeah,
players from Mexico have that
Mexican
problem.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, actually I have it. I cannot make it to NA events yet, but it's an issue here. But it's all about community, and they follow up all the activities that are going through NA, and they follow up all the players also. For example, when you Gabriel
Yeah.
invite me to this, they were like, hey, why don't you take it to Mexico? Why don't you do this in Mexico? Because they need like more this kind of activities that you are doing. So
Agreed.
that's a
I agree.
perspective here. Yeah, that's a perspective that we have from here, because we are so close. We are so close to NA,
Yeah.
but we cannot like get much into your activities that you do.
That is true.
Yeah.
I do agree that the Latin American community is very strongly
Yeah.
like more like fan wise than NA, like supportive than NA.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about community, but not this professional level.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like
Yeah, they need a lot.
support wise, Mexico is definitely up there. It's definitely number one for gears. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I know they've been continuing to grow, and honestly, our probably most productive event, or the best events with number-wise fans, viewers, teams actually attending, has been Mexico. I think both times, and if I'm not mistaken, I know they officially have one more event happening in Mexico later this year.
Year, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
For sure.
Something like that. I cannot say like a lot.
Uh-oh, be careful.
Yeah.
Got some spoilers.
Sure, we're having more. That's spoilers.
We almost had some spoilers come out. Now, I'll let you live, because I could have gone into my questioning, but I'll let you slide. I'll let you live. But it does sound like we're going to have one more event in Mexico, so obviously... I'm hoping everybody goes to that event. I'm hoping it's like the last one or second to last event, so that it's bigger.
Yeah, ends off with a kick type of thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Blast, would you be attending that event? Would you be going back?
Of course. I'm gonna keep stopping until I can't no more. To be honest, like my goal is to like really win a championship. Like that's my goal.
Awesome.
That should be the only goal. I know a lot of people always talk about top 8, top 12, top 16.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Like I dream about winning a championship. Like it's not out of my grasp. Like it can happen. I can make it a reality. And that's why that's what I see it as.
That's true, and that's the kind of mentality you want.
And Mexico is the best place to do that. Since you can after party with tacos.
In Mexico, yo, I swear to God, I'll cry.
You can have an after party of tacos.
Yeah, of course. That's the best part.
Yeah.
You need to have tacos before you compete. I think that's realistically what it comes down to.
Yeah. That's
right?
Yeah.
I was told, and I saw a lot via Twitter, that when people were over there in Mexico for the events, a lot of people were eating tacos, and I kind of got jealous because I like tacos. I don't know what your guys' take on that is.
It's crazy. When I went to Mexico, I didn't have too much tacos.
Why not?
I didn't really, me and my team didn't really know
Because you
any
didn't know
spots.
me. I took everyone. I took Chromosaur. I took Iranians. I took Sleepy Time. I took everyone to the best taco place.
Wow,
Where you
damn.
were.
I don't know where the hell I was at. Then. I don't know where I was at.
He was lost. He had no
Yeah, I
idea.
He was lost.
Mexico, I was lost. I was lost to Mexico. I was lost in the sauce.
He got lost. Literally. Probably literally.
Literally.
Blast. How much longer do you have on here? Because I know you had kind of like a deadline, so I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah, I should be getting off in probably a couple minutes. We had a scrimmage for 9:30.
All right, so before I let you go, let's jump into the first topic. We'll keep Blast on here. So first topic of the night is a quote that I pulled from Franchise. We all know who Franchise is, obviously. So Franchise had went out and tweeted, "One day you guys will know the full story." Now, before I give my take on that, let's start with Blast. Blast, what's your take on that kind of tweet?
I feel like Fran is the type of person, like, the truth will come out like by itself sooner or later. Like, time will tell, everything. I think, Fran is just waiting for that right time.
It's true. Now,
So
Chris, what's your take on that?
Well, I think you never know the full story. You always have both sides, and not only both sides. You have like
vague. That's so vague to like. You could just say anything. Like it's just you don't know. You don't know
exactly
anything. That's crazy. I would like to know though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's.
I definitely saved that tweet, but. As I told you, you never know the full story. You can never know the full story. Or I never know.
Yeah, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Exactly.
You guys never know the full story. Obviously, that's why he said it. So, I think... Go ahead.
What do you think, Cubano?
All right, so I'm going to break it down real simple. So, you've been seeing a lot of tweets from, not really Solurs. Solurs has been pretty quiet. He's been off the radar. But you've been seeing, Praized. He did that whole clock tweet, which that clock I can confirm is the clock of his contract, which is going to expire in June. I don't know exactly when in June it's going to expire, but I do know he's on the contract till June from Echo Fox. So that tweet handles that. And then I know Fran had a tweet prior to this one saying that I held you down or something like that.
Yeah, I seen that. Yep. I held down this piece of shit for like mad long, something like that.
Correct. So it's hard to say. I do know it's in relation to either Solurs or Praized. Obviously, Fran put his neck out there for both of them, and I'm sure there's rumors going around. There's, different things being said behind the scenes in regards to orgs, who's going to buy out who's going to come out of contract. So I'm almost positive he's saying that to probably both of them at this point, because obviously they don't want to compete with Echo Fox. I think I said that last episode, but to tell you guys and everybody else that's here again, Solurs and Praized do not want to play with that roster, hence why they went out and grabbed 3 new people. If anybody tells you differently, it's not true. But that's why Solurs and Praized were put in purgatory, I guess you could say, or that's what everybody wants to say, that they're put in purgatory currently for that reason. They don't want to play with that roster anymore, and I don't blame them. You got 2 probably top honestly, 5 guys.
I think they gave it. I think they gave it a good decent amount of time. Like they really they stuck it out. They have gotten some pretty themselves placings, as they would say, and they stuck it out. And I think, that they're probably saying it's time for a change.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's realistically what it comes down to, is that they wanted a team change. Fran obviously feels some type of way. I don't blame him at all. I'm sure it sucks. A team like that, 2 guys like that, losing them is always a heartbreaker. You know what I mean? It's not just a teammate, it's a friend. It's somebody that you built a bond with.
Exactly. It becomes a family. It becomes a family when you team. Yeah. I completely understand if they don't want to join the team in that conditions, but
it happens.
That happens exactly.
Business is business, so I mean, I don't blame.
Exactly.
I don't blame either
it's
side.
It's a game, but it's still being a business. So.
It's getting more and more of a business, and I think people need to.
Hey, go to Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Cubano.
No problem, Blast.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Have a good night, Blast.
Yeah,
Good
have
luck
a
on your
good one.
scrims. Take care.
Thank you.
Fun.
You too.
Later, bro. He looks a little tired. I don't know how well he's going to do, Flash, but we are giving you your teammate back, so hopefully that goes well for you guys. So now it is down to Chris and I. We'll continue the rest of the show like this, guys. Thank you all for being here. I think that's it for this topic. We're not going to go too much into this. We're going to go into a juicier topic, which is now Solurs and Praized to Optic and Icy to be released. Now, Chris, what is your take on this whole thing?
I don't know. The first thing I saw about this topic was this picture that posed explosive. So I was like, I was like, what do you mean? Yeah. So I start like, watching all the replies, and I watched these screenshots you sent me, and I was like, figuring out. I don't know. I don't exactly know what's gonna happen. Well, we don't know, but Icy, dropping Icy, I don't know. I want to be sure.
It's not that far-fetched, and that's kind of why I do this show, to kind of bring light or bring more information than most people think of. Like, you got to think outside of the box with these kinds of things, because we're not only dealing with orgs, we're dealing with players. Sometimes we're dealing with, unfortunately, immature players. Sometimes people make decisions off of emotions, which is probably the worst thing you could do, especially in Gears of War. Correct. I mean, I've done that before. I'm not going to lie. I've done that with teammates in the past where I dropped them and it wasn't necessarily the best decision, but it was more that I did it because I just couldn't deal with them anymore. I just didn't think that they wanted it. And if he's watching this, one of my teammates who I did that to probably like 3 different times, and a lot of people in here know him, was Zero Excel. For everyone that knows Dan, aka Zero Excel, I teamed with him for a very long time, probably a year, and we actually won a lot of money. We did a lot of work, and I ended up dropping him. And I say not because whatever, I want to feel empowered, but I ended up dropping him because he stopped committing the time that I needed him to commit. Not him personally, but I felt like he needed to commit due to personal reasons. I'm not going to put his business out there. It wasn't anything bad or, life-threatening. But it was just personal stuff that, he probably could have handled on his own time. Was I a little aggressive? Probably. I was a lot younger as well. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I ended up dropping him. And it happens. He wasn't a bad player. It wasn't that he said something wrong. It's just... it was just a decision I felt was necessary. And
exactly. Yeah, you have to keep the balance on the team. And that's the most important thing to the organization. Maybe not for the players, but for the organization also. And the players are part of the organization. I think that's what I think. Like, maybe sometimes you are friends of him, but you need to, maintain the balance.
That's the thing, right. And that might be the issue right now in regards if Icy gets dropped. Obviously, it's not confirmed, but obviously we've been seeing some things stir up that
spoilers.
Yeah, it could be that we're being trolled, which is very possible. It's not something that you see all the time from Optic, but it's very possible that they could just be trolling us and that Icy goes nowhere. Or it could be something legit, but I did go ahead and take the screenshot from the chat, so everybody in here that hasn't seen it, on the top of it. Yeah, that's the
picture.
You see Mental, he says the big 3, and you have Mental, Summons, and Explosives. So that right there kind of hints at the big 3. Why is there only 3 being mentioned? Shouldn't it be the big 4? Not that that's something that you... I guess say that's kind of like a basketball term that started with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, the big 3. So maybe it could be something like that, or it could be Icy's gone. I think that might be a little bit too obvious. I don't know what you think about that, Chris.
Yeah, that was too obvious. That's what I actually want to say. But yeah, it doesn't have. It doesn't make sense, the big 3, but. They're trying to tell us something.
Maybe definitely. They could be sending hidden messages, or, I mean, it's not necessarily hidden because everybody, not just me, everybody at this point kind of picked up on it.
Yeah.
But then to also make it a little bit more interesting, we have another screenshot here from Icy. Now, Icy goes and puts out an image. It wasn't an image, just kind of of the wolves, basically saying lone wolf. You know, maybe he is the lone wolf, or maybe, you know, he's being thrown to the wolves. There's just so many ways that you can, you know, put this together. And if it ends up being nothing, which I highly doubt it, I think it might be a little bit dramatic. But at this point, I don't know. You do have Solurs and Praized coming out of contract in June. You drop Icy, you add Solurs and Praized. You probably have like 4 of the top 5 best Gears of War players all on one team. So I don't know if you agree with that, Chris. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I don't know. It's like I'm not very sure what to think because. Well, when I saw the first picture, I saw first this explosive picture, and I was like, oh. And then I saw the big tree, and I was like, okay, they are very sure that they're staying together. I don't know, but when I saw this picture of the lone wolf, I was like, okay, maybe he's leaving. No, I'm very sure. I'm very sure this is it. This is it. They gave us all the clues.
I mean, yeah, they are putting everything on the table, so that's why it will be funny if nothing ends up happening, which, again, like I said, I personally see this happening. I know Icy is a really good player. I know it's not going to come down to skill once again, just like Kenny was released. It wasn't for skill. Icy's a very good player. And when it comes down to it, I know he does have some tough, I guess, time behind the scenes, and this is not from me. This is from people telling me that seen it or heard it, that, you know, Icy can sometimes be a tough teammate to deal with. And per sources, one of his teammates that teamed with him for a very long time personally told me about it when I was bringing up this topic, was that I can't really say what he said, but basically said that Icy was extremely tough to deal with and was probably one of the worst teammates he ever had. So that might take into effect at this point, you know, that Summons, Mental, and Explosives want to get rid of that, if that's even something. You know, I'm just saying this might be something that this is not true, but they might want to just get rid of all that toxic stuff on the team. You know, they got rid of Kenny because of their reasons. They get rid of Icy because of their reasons. And then you have Praized and Solurs. You have the Wolf Pack back together. You know, they've all played together on Denial. They've won a championship before. I mean, I don't see this being a bad move whatsoever. I don't know if you agree. I know you kind of said yes. You said no. You're kind of on the fence. But Chris, if you had to say yes or no right now, is this a good move for Optic or not?
This is the moment. Oh, a good move for Optic or not? I think there's no money on it, so I can just choose my answer. But I have to say this. The first and the main reason to drop a player, it doesn't matter his skills. It doesn't matter if, I don't know, whatever he has his best. If he's a toxic player, you should drop him out. That's as an organization. That's what I think. If he's toxic or he's, what do you say, like kind of mean, VM, I don't know. You definitely have to drop him off. It's sometimes it's your friend maybe, but I know a lot, and not only on Gears of War, but I've seen a lot of organizations just fail because they didn't drop out this kind of attitudes of his teammates. And I really think that Optic needs to, since what happened this year to all the complete organization, I think it's a good move because I think they're testing, you know. They're like, okay, let's change the ways. They're changing. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you mean, and it's absolutely true. I think everybody in the chat, most people fully support the decision for them to make, which I think is probably the decision that everybody wants to see. Not that Icy again is bad, but that they want to see Solurs and Praized, 2 powerhouse players on Optic.
Well together.
That's cool. I think that's kind of like the bigger deal.
Yeah, and I think that will bring a new point of view and point of start for the team. That's what I think.
Mhm.
It's like maybe we don't like it or I don't like it a lot, but I think it's a good move, and I think the community it's okay with that. They are like maybe kind of confused about this, but I really think you're raising your hand. I see you.
I was answering MJ Hashif. He said, "Raise your hand if you want an ass whipping." Yes, right here. I mean,
Okay, I'll keep it like this.
yeah, it's like, all right, whatever, pay me. Whoa, it's getting weird. So Multi-Soldier had a question. So Multi-Soldier, I didn't lose you. I know you just asked a question. Is it possible to have 6 people on a team and sub players for certain maps? Now, Multi-Soldier, the answer is no. That has not happened ever in Gears of War, and I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it'll work. I mean, Chris, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think it doesn't work because you have to I don't know, to get used to your teammates and like be changing and I don't know, and switching. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I think you have to keep the same players in at all times. You have to the team chemistry. You swap somebody out each map, win or lose. You know, if you win the map, why you swap the guy out? If you lose, I think adding a new guy in there is only going to make it more confusing.
Will you imagine a screaming? Will you imagine that?
Oh
it will even be hard to screaming with some people in just these maps, and I don't know. It'll be a mess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of insane, honestly. I don't think, but
yeah.
I'm hoping that answers your question, Soldier. Something that NY Gifted brought up. He said, IC back to E United or Echo Fox. If IC were to get released, Chris, before I say anything, where would you see IC going? Because obviously, I mean, I think he would need to be picked up as soon as possible.
Well, everyone's going to Echo Fox. so the signs.
yeah, which
definitely.
It would be tough because obviously they just announced, God Plays, Kenny Bounce, and Powers. So obviously a lot of people say Echo Fox, but would they really move somebody? And if they move somebody, I would see them moving M Powers, if anything. But, you kind of just put them on the team. Now you take them away. I mean, I don't know if that would necessarily work. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Well, that's true. They just signed new contracts. So I don't think they're dropping anyone or... I don't know, it's like I can see him at this point in any team. I haven't like figured this out, like where should we go? Should he go like I don't know. Not exactly sure. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is too, which people brought up in the chat, is that bringing Icy to Echo Fox, now you have him as teammates with God Plays, and obviously...
Yeah, I see that. Icy and Kaid on the same thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily what you want to see or if that'll even work. And I know people also bring up E United. Now, could you see him going to E United?
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about E United, but I think that's the best. That's the best. But I'm not really sure. I haven't they haven't I don't know, signed with any other new players. So
yeah, it's kind of I don't know if that'll necessarily be the case. I think Echo Fox is pretty much set in stone with those 5. They've only played at 2 events so far. They've done really well. I think top 4, top 6. So I know a lot of people always bring up E United. I don't think at all, period, that E United would make a team change. So if anybody were to do it, it'll be Ghost Gaming, which a lot of people say.
Anybody, that's what I was trying to say. I'm not sure that anyone at this. I don't know. It's changing.
It's tough. It's tough. I know a lot of people bring up Ghost too. A lot of people are bringing up Ghost, especially in the chat right now, saying that Ghost dropping, ribs for Icy. Which, I mean, no offense to ribs, Icy is a better player, but do you mess up that team after they just won first place?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know if that's something that you necessarily want to do or you want to touch. Another thing is that we also have Toy Soldier, who's free right now. I know Toy Soldier had been playing with Soto.
Just hold on a second with
Yep.
my camera, please.
Uh-oh.
I'm still here. I remain here because I forgot to plug my computer.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Slacker, guys. We have a slacker.
Yeah. Don't be Chris. Don't be like Chris, please.
We forgot to charge your computer. Who doesn't have a desktop now these days? Hello?
Well, I do, but I don't know. It's since we have gaming computers, it's like I don't know, everything it's better. Because I move a lot, Actually, I'm moving in 1 month. I'm moving to another state, so
Wow.
This works for me.
Okay, that's good. Movement is always good.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I think that's pretty much it. Guys, if you have any questions in regards to that topic on Solurs and Praized, make sure to bring it up in the chat. And we're going to be moving to contracts and the topic, contracts. They're a part of business. So I wanted to talk about contracts, especially tonight, because before I got on here, you and I and Blast, we all joined together and we got on this show. There was a lot of talks going on about contracts. We had Benson coming out on Twitter talking about it. We had Blaze talking about it. We had Joe Vaughn, who's now the co-host of the OTF on the flank with Veli. They were all talking about it and kind of arguing about, contracts, whether it's a good thing they hold players back or not. Before we get into it, Chris, what's your take on contracts in esports? Is it good for esports? Is it bad for esports?
It is good, but it really needs to be, I don't know, to be a real contract. I don't know. They sometimes I've read some contracts and they're a mess. The contracts nowadays are a mess. I think no one is regulating, but the contracts are just like, okay, yes, we're together, sign here. They need more, I don't know, they need to be more professional, maybe. But they definitely need contracts for sure.
Yeah, no.
I can see any player without a contract or any staff for the organization. They definitely need a contract.
Yeah, I think now a standard for most organizations and most teams and players has a contract. And I know the big issue then why it came up about contracts was because about Solurs and Praized. Obviously, they're still under contract, like I said, till June. There's been a lot of talk about, Joe Vaughn said on Twitter that he doesn't necessarily think it's the right thing to hold players back from, going out and be able to take on another opportunity when they're being held back from their current organization by a contract. And then you had Benson on the other side who said that, it's a contract, you signed it, it's a business, the org has pretty much owns you. You know what I mean? That's realistically what it comes to, for good or bad. The org now owns you legally on paper, and you're not talking about some Joe Schmo organization. You're talking about EchoFox. These guys have a legal team. There's attorneys that they hire to do these contracts. This isn't just...
They have a complete organization. They are a complete brand, so they need contracts. They cannot work in any other way.
Agreed. And there's no other way, really, like you said, there's no other way around it. I think at this point, Praized and Solurs, I like both of them. But right now, they're doing their time. Unfortunately, people are saying it's purgatory or whatever nonsense you want to call it. They're doing their time right now, and it's hard time because obviously they want to be able to play. They want to be able to get on that team that they want to be on and be able to, have some forward progress. But right now they're being held back as well as they should be. They signed a contract for X amount of time. I think it's a year or so. And now they got to live up to it. And hopefully, from what Praized told me, it's done in June. I'm not sure when exactly in June. I know obviously they want sooner than later so they could get to it. But I think at this point, like the topic says, I think contracts, they're a part of the business at this point. Esports is becoming more and more of a business as we see it continue to grow.
Yeah, and that there are a lot of things involved in that, like the sponsors, all the stuff. So they have to, they need a commitment. They need to be really engaged with the organization. And I think an important thing here is that all the players and And most of the players needs to be more aware about what's happening on contracts and to pay more attention about these legal issues, because they just maybe don't know what it's like to exactly have a contract. They are not like, they didn't have this idea, I think, because this happened here in Mexico. Like, hey, why do we need a contract? Because we are friends, and this, and that's why all the organizations here, well, most of the organizations here in Mexico and Latin America, just fail because they don't use contracts, and they don't use the right contracts, and they don't have commitments. Maybe they talk with some brands and they partner some brands, and then they fail and they cannot grow. And I think that definitely a contract is not something that can be discussed. It's just something that it is because it's an organization, it's a brand, and it's an entire company that we are talking about.
Absolutely. And Perfection owns one of my mods, also former teammate Brian. He brings up a good point. He says contracts are a good thing. Players don't know what should be in them, though. More often than not, the orgs take advantage of the players, which, yes and no. I could agree with Brian. Sometimes not necessarily. But back in the early esports days, orgs weren't as popular, which is true. Teams worked hard to obtain multiple sponsors on their own, which is true. And now they just rely on orgs to do all the work for them, which is also true. So I think now these days people have gone a little lazy, not that, it's good or bad, and they rely a lot on the org. So when they don't have an org backing them up, there really isn't much that they can do, which comes down to personality and the drive. I know I personally always worked hard to get my own sponsors. I had my own team for most of my career, Team Raw Talent. I mean, myself and Immortal Spawn started that in 2008, and we pretty much had our own sponsors. So it's not doable. You just have to be able to put in the time and the effort to do that. So I agree with you on that, Brian. And we had another question, HCTV. Why can't Solurs and Praized just start scrimming now with Optic? So to answer that question, they can't because of their contract. So if they are seen scrimming with Optic, you start getting into the legal issues and whatnot, and, you don't want anybody to get in trouble. So that's kind of why those guys aren't currently doing that right now for both sides. So I hope that answers your question. And yeah, I think that's it for the contracts part. Sneaky, good to see you in here. He said, oh boy. Not sure why he said, oh boy. Maybe because of your new roster.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh girl.
Yeah. So now, lastly, our last topic of the night, which is probably one of the juicier topics of the night, we're going to be talking about orgs that are coming and going. Who's coming? Who's going? So
that's why I'm here, because I really want to know. Actually, that's the only reason I'm here.
So I'll start off. Well, I don't want to say it that way. We'll just start off with the first one that I'm going to bring it up. So this is one that you guys haven't necessarily been haven't heard about, sorry. And they are joining into the esports gears world. They just contacted me probably like an hour or two before I went live. I'm going to put their in the chat. You guys could go ahead and reach out to them. But Team Kong Gaming reached out to me personally, the owner, and said that they want to come into the esports gears world. Nothing is set in stone with them. They obviously want to test out the waters and kind of see who's available, who's not available, and have asked me to advise them. So I am going to be doing that. But guys, if you are interested and you are looking for an organization, Team Kong Gaming is one of those orgs that is currently looking for a team. And I don't know too much about them, but they were kind enough to contact me. And like I said, I use this platform to get the word out for teams like them. And that's the first org that's coming, obviously. We're going to leave the one that's going for last. But that's the first one that is coming into the esports gears world, as long as, obviously, they could come to an agreement on a contract with the team that they end up trying to work with. Obviously, everything comes down to a contract in the end. So that's the first one. That's an easy one for you all. Then the next one that's coming in. This one's better. This one is a lot better. So this is an organization that came from, what can I say, Call of Duty. They competed as champs before. Actually, multiple times. I think they competed at champs. I've known the team. I've known the owner. I know the rosters they had in Call of Duty that went to champs. And they actually contacted me today. The owner himself, gave me a huge breakdown, which I like. It's not that I don't like it, but I like when the orgs give me a breakdown of what they offer, what they're looking for, what their timetable is, and different things like that. But the second one of the night is...
Oh, look at the chat. They are trying to figure it out. They're trying to guess. Face, elevate.
It's actually Bittersweet is the third one on the list. Bittersweet, guys. Bittersweet GG. Not the biggest, but also not the smallest Call of Duty organization out there. They, like I said, they have been to champs multiple times, and they are coming to the scene. As long as they get the right team and they reach the right terms on contracts, that's something that is PR. If you read or if you listened to PR, I said I'm going to be talking about four orgs. You said, why mention these two but not Elevate? That's only two. Only two. We have two more. Slow down, Chief. Slow down. Relax.
You have us like just waiting. I'm nervous. Like, yes, right now.
Yeah. Thank you. Truthfully, Grim. I'm not done yet, Grim. PR. I love you. So no offense. No, nothing. But yeah, so Bittersweet GG, they actually contacted me today. I want to give you guys a little bit of a quote that the owner gave to me today. But he did want me to say that they're looking for a motivated up-and-coming team that they want to build around. Obviously, they want a younger team, is what the owner specifically told me to say. And they want a team that will stick together. Obviously, he asked me to come in and advise for them again as well. So I will be a big decision in probably 3 of 4 of these orgs. I'll be a big part of it. Not to say that's talk myself up, but I know who you guys are. I know what a lot of you bring to the table. I've been there. I've done that. So, if you want an opportunity, you have to play right and you have to play fair. But the owner did say that, and he also said we are rebuilding and they are relaunching the brand. They have been, I think they took some time off the last year, and they want to start off completely fresh. And Gears is a new scene they want to hit. I knew they offer a lot, in regards to the teams and the players, depending on your rank and the 2Ks and all that nonsense. But as you guys know, that's the third org that is coming in. Now, the third and last org that is coming, that's going to be now. So for everyone that's been waiting, I know, Chris, you've been waiting as well for the third org that is officially coming to the Gears world. Now, this is also another big organization, one that a lot of people have been talking about, that have been in the esports Gears scene before, but that is Elevate GG. So Elevate GG is officially coming back to the esports Gears world. I happened to talk to the COO himself, Robert Wells, through DM. So this is official, and this is not a bad announcement. This is a good announcement. I like to bring the attention to the orgs prior to when they officially announce it, because now it brings up suspense and it brings up the excitement. But it is Exclusives team. So it's Hezi, Exclusives, Sneak, Eternity, and DeFazio. That is the 5 that I was told personally from Elevate. So Elevate will be back. They are the third team org that is coming to the esports Gears scene. I can tell you that. And we welcome all 3 of them. Obviously, one is official. The other 2 are still, waiting for that roster, or waiting for that, I guess, team to come out of nowhere for them to pick up and kind of get back into the game. DeFazio is not on the team. So Coolio said DeFazio is not on the team. Coolio, who was on the team as their 5th? That was the roster that they gave me personally to talk about. So I'm not too sure who their 5th might be. But I did see DeFazio tweet out, I think earlier today, that he was a free agent and that he'll be looking for a team to scrim with. So I do agree with you on that, unless they dropped him pretty fast. Sneak. What's up, Venom? Oh, Firearm. Okay. All right, so yeah. Even better.
I know him. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that addition better. So Hezi, Exclusive, Sneak, Eternity, and Firearm. That is your team Elevate. They will be making an official announcement soon, guys. And they'll also be coached by Burger himself, Burger Fresh.
Yeah, I think it's a strong team.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
They're not they're not starting restarting like that bad yet. They're actually really good. Good choice.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing that they came back. I know a lot of people didn't expect them to, but yeah, they will be back, which is a good thing, obviously, for Gears. So lastly, the most interesting is the team that is leaving the esports Gears scene. Now, this one is tough. This one is extremely tough, and it's not what anybody expects. This is a top 12 organization. Top 12 to throw you guys off, because I can't give the exact name tonight. I'm not going to give the exact name tonight because I can't. But it is a top 8 organization, not top 12. A top 8 org is leaving the scene officially. Per sources, a top 8 organization is leaving the scene. Confirmed. It's happening. They're leaving. I'll have the story for you guys next week. I'll actually have somebody from the organization themselves coming onto the show. So they'll be coming on the show and they'll be talking about why exactly they are leaving the scene. And trust me, he kind of already told me why they're leaving and what he wants to explain on stream on my show exclusively. And you guys don't want to miss it at all. But
they're joining you, right? They're joining you to talk about this or not?
They're what?
Are they joining you the next
Yes.
episode to talk about this?
Yes, they're going to be joining me in the next episode to talk about this.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
So to answer Leap, I know a whole bunch of you. Nobody knows this. I know for a fact nobody knows this due to the reason my connection to the organization. So I promise you I will have it out to you next week. I will have, whoever it is on the show. I'm not going to give any names yet. But they are leaving the scene, and like I said, it's going to be a pretty big impact. I'm not blowing smoke or anything like that, but it's going to be bigger than probably anybody really expects. It's not a lower end squad. It's more of a, and the only reason why I'm not telling you guys is because I don't want to ruin anybody's contract or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You guys know I'm always willing to give you information ahead of time, but since I know these people personally, I don't want to hurt anybody. I want them to succeed no matter what. And they told me personally, do not say it tonight. So we're going to be talking about it next week. But I think that is it. I think that's all we have for tonight. So to wrap it up, Chris, thank you for coming on here tonight. Thank you for everybody watching.
Thank you.
And Chris, before I let you go, is there anything else that you wanted to say?
No, actually, thank you and thank all the community because I really enjoy to be part of, I'm part of the Mexican community, but I love to be more involved with the NA community. So I really hope I can meet these players like Blast that you invited in person because sometimes you come to the events, but you don't know me because I'm working. I do work on the events, so I definitely be more tuned with you guys and let me know if you want to do something in Mexico because I really want to put this kind of projects on the table for Microsoft here in Mexico. So hit me up.
Of course, guys. So Chris, co-host of the night, Chris Fected. Make sure you.
No. Wait. wait.
It slipped out again.
This was the beginning of a friendship, so don't mess it up, please.
I did it. I caught it last second. So I caught it. So yes, Chris, thank you for being on here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, guys. Make sure you follow her on Twitter and make sure you keep up with the Latin American side as well as the North American esports gear scene. And Chris, thank you for being here, and have a good night.
You too.
Take care. All right, guys, so that is it for my guest for the night, Chris Fected, co-host of the night. We also had Blast as well. We're not done yet, so make sure you guys stick around. To answer any last-minute questions on the chat that you guys have, you know anything about what Esports Gears tweeted out about some inside Xbox tomorrow? Any rumors of what they are talking about? I have absolutely no idea what they are talking about, unfortunately. I have no idea what that means, what it is. They don't really tell me these things. I kind of just find it out on my own, which makes it more interesting, makes it more exciting when you find it out on your own, because you start to use your skills to find these things. So I don't know anything about that, unfortunately. That's more of an Xbox Microsoft thing, so they're way above Gears of War right now. But guys, I didn't want to blow any smoke about the org that is leaving, the top 8 org that is going to be leaving, but I promise and I assure you that I will have one of the owners on the show next week to explain why they are leaving Gears, you know, what issues arise that, you know, had them leave the esports Gears scene. I didn't say it personally tonight because I promised them that I wouldn't, and they asked me personally not to. So that's a different story when an org tells me that. I'm not here to hurt the org. I'm not here to hurt the players. But I promise you, I will have it next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is going to be May 23rd, same time, same place. And that's going to be it for me tonight, guys. And yeah, I think that's it. I think we have one more song left in us, and no, it's not Rise, Snub. No, don't try to catch me slipping. Not Rise. It's actually is a vest. Leap. It is a vest. And no, it's not Rise for you guys that's asking. But that's it for me tonight, guys. Thank you for being here. And we'll finish it out with one last song. And thank you once again, everybody that's watching, everybody that's followed. I appreciate it. Wow, Angel, that is pretty extreme, I would say. I don't know if that's necessarily what we need, but that's how you feel. I mean, I appreciate you being honest. But guys, I gotta go. They're calling me. Thank you guys for being here. Bad Boys edition of Gears of War GowRosterMania. Woo! This is like... Woo! Thanks, Austin. I love you, baby. What's a good one to end this on? What's a good one? See? Ladies can't take that? That's not my problem. I don't know. It sounds like a personal problem. You know, Chris. I think we got one more. I think we got one more. See, what do we got here? This is the last one. Last one of the night. I promise. I got you with the remix, Chris. You hit me up. I got you with the remix. This is the last one.
Crazy for this one.
Right hand for mature, hold up. All right, guys, that's enough of me being a... yeah, we'll not talk about that. But guys, thank you all for being here tonight. Appreciate you following me. We've had probably over 50 follows tonight, so that is awesome. That's always a big deal for me and my stream. Thank you for all my guests. Chris, Fected, Blast, everybody that was in here. Reapers, Jojo, Stellars, Supremacy, Leap, aka Austin, my good friend slash teammate. Everybody that was in here tonight, thank you guys for following. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you again next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/NJCUBANO. I will have the top 8 organization dropping out of the esports gears world. Confirmed information next Wednesday. And that's it for me tonight. Love you all and have a good night. If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye-bye.